Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg here in Las Vegas. Good morning, Hank.
Hey, Jim.
We're working with different equipment this morning because we had a recording problem, but let's try to make it work. What's going on with you? What kind of a weekend did you have?
I actually won some money this weekend. I did well on Saturday. A very good day Saturday. And yesterday I actually came out ahead. I was over 60%. But I lost my two big games. I couldn't figure out what happened to the Houston quarterback. I know he spent a good part of his bye week in Mexico. But for Watson to play the way he did, he was terrible. I never saw him play a game like that, where he just couldn't do anything. And, he couldn't make a first down against the Baltimore defense. I thought that he'd be able to, put some points up on the board against that team, but he really was horrible. And they had no answers for, Baltimore, once they got started, it looked like the Houston team just didn't feel like playing because they saw what their quarterback was not doing. And the other game I had was one of the early games that I thought that they just had the wrong side. And that was the Carolina game. That mystifies me, how they could go in. What got into Atlanta that all of a sudden they're a defensive juggernaut. But the quarterback for Carolina, after having played well for some time, just went out and threw in a real stinker, and they couldn't do anything. And I wondered why they left him in, because he was having such a terrible game, yet they didn't change quarterbacks. They have another quarterback on the roster who isn't too bad. They just did nothing.
Yeah, it was. There's some very strange things happening out there. I'm particularly angry, and I don't want to go off on a rant with this, but I'm quite upset with the officiating in the league.
Well, the officiating had nothing to do with the outcome of those two games. I mean, how do you explain the way that this was a big game for Houston, and for them to not show up and do nothing, and for all of a sudden for Atlanta to become, to shut down, 1 week to shut down New Orleans, and then the next week to go into Carolina at home, and Carolina's just couldn't get anything done, and the Atlanta defense totally outplays them.
Yeah,
that's not an officiating thing.
Well, I'm not talking about those two games. I'm talking in general. I'm not happy with the officiating across the league, but that's my own personal thing. And Atlanta at the beginning of the year, a lot of people thought they might have a pretty good year. They have a lot of talent, and they've been absolutely atrocious until the last 2 weeks. And now they woke up, and they're playing quite well.
Well, they were 0-7 before the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's what I just said. Until the last 2 weeks, they
just put a number on it. 0-7 to shutting down two contenders, and then New Orleans comes back, and I had New Orleans, but they come back and Breeze throws three touchdown passes, and they're pretty healthy right now offensively. Kamara was good, and they did fine. I'll tell you the other game I was all over New England, so that game didn't surprise me any. But and I also I wound up taking the Rams. How about Gurley? 97 yards rushing.
Yeah,
he came to life.
He came to life. He did. Very interesting. It was an interesting day, interesting week. We got a big game tonight in Mexico. You got Kansas City, who spent the whole week practicing at home, where the Chargers went up to Colorado and practiced because they were at 7,300 feet practicing because the game tonight's going to be at 7,300. So they did a little extra preparation by staying away from home and went up there and practiced. So I don't see what kind of an effect that has in the game.
Well, Phillip Rivers is not playing very well right now, and but the Kansas City defense isn't playing very well right now either. So, but this is a big game for Kansas City because if they don't win, the Raiders will be in first place in that division. And the Raiders didn't play great yesterday, but they played well enough to win against a Cincinnati team that, you know, has not been very good all year, and Cincinnati covered in that game. And I don't think the officiating had anything to do with that result. Raiders just had a look ahead to the next couple of weeks. I think they came into this game thinking that they had a soft touch, and they didn't show up. But they got by. They were just good enough.
Well, yeah, they've been a surprise this year. John Gruden's done a good job with that team. A lot of people didn't think they were going to have a very good year, but they're 6-4 on the season, which is remarkably better than anybody expected. And you know they still got a chance to really, like you said, they could win that division. They could get a wild card. They can get in the playoffs, and nobody really expected them to do that. So that's hats off.
San Francisco had a tough time. Minnesota had a tough time. You know, it was Minnesota playing Denver, one of the worst teams in the league. And although Denver does have some defense, but the Minnesota running game couldn't get going. They were down 20 points at the half, and the guy everybody likes to knock, the quarterback, brought him back in the second half and got them a win. Denver still almost pulled that game back, pulled that game out. I didn't have a play on that game, but that was nice to see he's finally getting some credit. And San Francisco, who has Baltimore coming in this week, they fell way behind Arizona. And Jimmy G put Arizona in the game with some careless passes. And they better get Kittle back there. They're going to be in trouble offensively. But Arizona gave them a game.
They sure did. It was a very interesting game. At the end, there was a little bit of a bad beat for a lot of people that didn't have good lines on the game. If they bet Arizona and took 9.5 or 10, they had that taken out of their pocket. And the Patriots did what they do. They won and covered, and Philadelphia, like you said the other day, they look slow and they don't look very good to me.
Yeah, Wentz is not playing well, but New England has no offense. You know, the touchdown pass was from Edelman. You know, Brady wasn't even involved in the scoring touchdown in the game.
I know.
So they've got some issues offensively, and now they've got Dallas coming in this week, and Dallas does have an offense. By the way, here's another game where Detroit, gave Dallas a little bit of a battle until Dallas finally pulled away. But I don't like the Philadelphia team. I don't think they're going anywhere.
It certainly doesn't look that way. College basketball had some good games over the weekend. We've got a big week coming up. We got the game tonight. We got a full card coming up on Thursday. Well, we got Thursday night. We got a good game. We got the Sunday NFL card, and of course we got the NBA and college hoops every day. And it's a good time. And anything on the agenda this week that you want to talk about, Hank?
No, I think college football has a couple of games. Ohio State, Penn State. I guess people will be interested in that. And there's Texas is playing Baylor. Boy, Baylor really, they had a game. They had a 25-point lead that they got off to early, and then they just couldn't do anything in the second half, and he wound up losing against Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, which doesn't have much defense, for some reason they were able to shut down that team in the second half. And that quarterback still looks kind of erratic to me. And then, of course, you got the Alabama quarterback going down.
Yeah, that's
and his replacement couldn't score in the second half, couldn't put any points up. So I think Alabama's probably in trouble the rest of the way, and that means you can't look for them in the Final Four.
No, I wouldn't think so. And good luck to Tua. I guess he's having surgery today. That looked like a pretty bad injury. And
there's the Bears situation with Trubisky, who had to come out of the game late. Apparently, he hurt his hip during the course of the game, but he played through it. Finally, he couldn't do anything, and he had the conversation with the coach, and finally the coach talked him into coming out of the game late. It wasn't because he was playing badly; it was because of the hip injury.
Right.
And he may be done for a while.
Well, we'll have a lot of news to follow this week, that's for sure, and stay on top of it. Hank, if nothing else, we'll close it off. We'll talk again on Wednesday, and we'll have the lines, and we'll catch up on some of the injuries and what's going on this week in sports. Anything else before closing?
Well, I saw the early line on the Baltimore-San Francisco game, and right now it opened up at Pick'em, I guess. And that's going to be an interesting game. And if San Francisco doesn't have Kittle, everybody talks about the Baltimore offense, but their defense really shut down a pretty good Houston offense. And so this is going to be a game that everybody's going to want to watch. No question.
Baltimore is really setting the world on fire right now. And they look like, right at the moment, they look like the best team in the AFC.
Yep.
And there's a few more weeks before we get to the playoffs, so we'll see how it turns out. Hank, we'll talk again on Wednesday. Thanks for your time.
All right, Jim. Yeah,
okay.
Be well.
Okay, buddy. Bye-bye. And go to JimFeist.com for Hank's plays and mine, and make sure you sign up for a free play each and every day. Thank you.